It's just terrifying to me to think what's going to happen with this budget and what we're going to lose.
Kentucky judges, clerks, and court workers prepare for a bare-bones budget that could cut jobs and wipe out successful programs. Good evening, everybody. Kentucky lawmakers have sent the governor a judicial budget which many say will bring local courts to a grinding halt.
Kentucky's Chief Justice says that budget passed by the state Senate would leave him nearly $80 million in the red. That could mean hundreds of job cuts and more people stuck in jail waiting for their day in court. Local 12 News reporter Joe Webb has been following the story and joins us live from the newsroom with the impact of these cuts. Joe.
Well, Paula, the 9% cut in the judicial budget comes on the heels of previous cuts to the courts in Kentucky. Lawmakers say the claims of lost jobs and logjams in the courts are exaggerated. But here in northern Kentucky, they say they are already jammed up and more cuts could be catastrophic.
And the felony cut is possession, first-degree possession of controlled substances.
Campbell District Judge Karen Thomas had 102 defendants on her arraignment docket this morning. It takes a lot of men and women to process that many new cases. And talk of budget cuts has Judge Thomas concerned.
We'll lose 600 jobs if this budget goes through. Those jobs have to come from places that cause the system to work. It's terrifying to think what might happen.
The judicial budget sailed through Kentucky's Senate last Friday with no changes to the House version, so it goes to the governor to sign. A projected $76 million shortfall for the courts not only threatens jobs, but programs like mental health court, veterans court, and the state's nationally recognized drug court.
Without programs like drug court, the community itself is going to feel it, because there are drug addicts out there that need our help tremendously. It is not a statutory function. It is not a constitutional function. It is a function of conscience.
87% of the judicial budget pays for personnel, so job cuts are inevitable. There is already a hiring freeze for court clerks' offices like Campbell County's. There are 2 unfilled openings here and likely to be more. Patience is wearing thin.
I've been here 21 years. I went 6 years without a raise. I got a raise 2 years ago. It was $400 for the year, which broke down to $15 a paycheck.
There may soon be fewer clerks, but there is no shortage of new cases. 102 new ones, even on a Monday, is not something people like Julie Gross saw even a few years ago.
Never. Maybe after the Labor Day fireworks.
Sure.
When they still served alcohol down there.
Now, we reached out to Kentucky Senate Budget Chairman Chris McDaniel, who's from northern Kentucky. He says the Kentucky House refused to negotiate on the budget and sent the Senate an unworkable judicial budget at the very last minute. He says they had no option but to pass it because time was running out on this year's session. Paula?
And Joe, those were staggering numbers on the number of people going through the court system. Thank you. And Kentucky's Chief Justice also claims that the budget cuts could force up to 17,000 defendants back to jail because there'd be no officers to supervise them on pretrial release. The cost of that would be borne by county jail.